Welcome to the Airbnb Roadmap, the podcast designed to navigate you through the entire journey of short-term rental success. Whether you're just starting out or ready to take your hosting game to the next level. My husband and I became super hosts within just months of launching our first Airbnb and have proudly kept that title ever since. With over 350 reviews and an overall 4.95 star ratings, we picked up a hack or two I'm excited to share with you. In each episode, I break down the strategies, insights, and industry secrets that set profitable short-term rentals apart. From choosing the right property, understanding local regulations, and obtaining your listing to go beyond just the basics. I'm here to share everything you need to succeed. So if you're ready to map out your path to Airbnb success and unlock the full potential of short-term rentals, join me on the Airbnb Roadmap. Your journey starts here. Hey, I'm Brittany Wenninger from Porch Realty, powered by Real Broker LLC, and welcome back to another episode of the Airbnb Roadmap podcast. Before we get into today's episode, a little life update. As always, we have to push closing back by one more week on the property that we are getting. And that's just because of some lending. I don't even want to say shenanigans. It's not even shenanigans. But there were some things that good old AI caught and put a red flag to. So we have to do a couple more extra steps in order to close. But we are going to close. I'm putting that out there. We are going to close on this property, and then we will get into designs and all that other hoopla. But for today's episode, we're diving into one of the most overlooked powerful parts of launching your short-term rental, and that is photo shoot day. This took Clay and I a while to figure out, and I will admit, I feel like that we are still trying to figure this out because every single property that we launch on Airbnb, it's a whole different process that we use. But I read this really amazing checklist article thing for short-term rental photo shoots, and I think it really helped me out. So for this next property, I'm not going to take any shortcuts. It's going to be done right. And yeah, so we'll just kind of get into what this article pretty much sums up, and then some things that I have noticed that other people are doing, and it makes a big difference when it comes to viewing other people's listings. But overall, the photo shoot date can definitely make or break your listing because your photos are your very first impression. The very first photo needs to be the scroll stopping photo. There's the moment where, a potential guest decides hey, let's actually keep on scrolling, or let's click on this listing and then kind of see what this listing is all about and book. So let's start with this. The one saying that I'm going to keep on repeating, that not all photographers are created equal. That's right. Not all photographers are created equal. I see this mistake happen all of the time, and I'm one of them. Hosts will hire their go-to real estate photographer, and while those shoots might look like an MLS listing, short-term rentals are completely different. You need someone who understands the quote-unquote lifestyle of a short-term rental, not just the structure of the house. A great STR photographer knows how to capture the emotions of the space. They understand the lighting, the angle, and the moods that make everyone want to actually stay there. They know how to make a home feel welcoming, inviting, and just full of life. This is the biggest thing that Clay and and I shouldn't even lump his name into this. This is the biggest thing that I struggled with because I am a real estate agent. I have so many friends that are photographers. So even let's say, for example, the first, I love how I just kind of stumbled through this. So our first property I took with my iPhone. Those photos, I will admit, are not the best, but they actually do look really good. I definitely brought that up to a couple of my other friends. I'm like, hey, what do you think about these photos? And they thought that a photographer took them. So That's awesome. Will I ever take photos with an iPhone ever again? Absolutely not. Like, that was 5 years ago. That was when, Airbnb was completely different. Now you need the professional photos. So for our second property, I actually, just like what I mentioned, I hired a photographer that we used all the time in our firm. Are they good? No, they are actually pretty crappy. And I look back on them and they are even fuzzy. And I'm like, come on, like, I paid you money. Anywho, all those photos are more of like he went into the corner, took a wide angle, and just took a photo of the space. Yes, I did have him take more of detailed shots, but even the detailed shots didn't really have any like emotion behind it. So when I saw other people's listings, I'm like, wow, like there's so much emotion and it's just so inviting in these photos. Like, how do I make that? And I really analyzed it. And just like what I mentioned, took the detailed shots, really figured out, the lighting and kind of like the moodiness of each photo. Even in Airbnb, you can take horizontal photos and vertical, so they don't just have to be all horizontal. And I'm working with my go-to photographer for, my MLS listings, but I'm kind of like coaching him through the short-term rental lifestyle photos, because since I already know, like, and trust him, I want to, kind of get him into my world and have him be my go-to photographer. And the nice thing with that is that we do have a really amazing relationship. If I'm like, hey, this photo, not the best, he won't actually take offense to it. So could I spend like $2,000 and get this really crazy lifestyle magazine worthy photographer? I totally could, but even like some of those photos are like kind of crappy. So I rather have a great relationship with my photographer, kind of work through it together, and then come up with a amazing result. But anywho, let's actually get back to what this article actually said. So once you book your photographer, that's actually when the fun begins, I think. This is the moment where you're actually staging your property and making every single little detail actually stand out. So the biggest thing that people kind of forget about is the linens. The linens should be perfectly smooth. Pillows need to be fluffed and like do like the karate chop in the middle, which I think is very ridiculous, but I mean, it's a nice little finishing touch. And then the curtains evenly spaced out. Now, one thing that, no one really thinks about is the cords. So you want to try to tuck all those cords in and then make sure that all the surfaces don't have any, crumbs or anything like that. All the lights need to be on, fans off. The reason why I say fans off is because in the photos you can see the fan circling around. That will, people's eyes will go straight to that and not actually the room. And then also all the blinds should be open. Let the natural light in. The camera unfortunately catches everything, so every single little detail matters. Even like a little wrinkle in the bed sheets or fingerprints on, let's say, a counter, those unfortunately stand out. So you want to make sure that you are pretty much behind your photographer, making sure that every single photo that he's taking is pristine. Once the basics are actually done, it's time to add the wow factors. And the wow factors, I think, stand out the most whenever someone looks at your listing. These are like the extra touches that make your listing from good to actually unforgettable, and people are being like, oh wow, like how did they even do that? One of my favorite tricks is to add a visual to the TV screen. No one likes a big black TV in a photo. I know it's one of those things that it is what it is, but let's not actually say it is what it is. Instead, let's make that black TV screen into something that, people will stop and be like, oh, that's really cool. So, for example, one of my properties is right next to a ski resort. Wintertime's coming. So I actually just uploaded a picture of a ski lift and I put it on the TV screen. And that kind of tells people like, hey, we're by a ski lift. This is going to be nice, cozy environment for the winter time. Another thing that you can do is maybe if you don't have a fireplace, maybe do like a quote unquote fake fireplace on the TV, or you could put your property logo on the TV, or if you have a property management company, put that logo there too. I have seen people put the Netflix logo on the TV screen. Is that smart? I really don't think so, because that is someone else's brand. So you may get in trouble. Will you actually get in trouble? I'm sure you won't. Netflix is not scrolling through people's Airbnb listings just to see if their logo is on a TV screen. Kind of ridiculous. But I mean, you could do it, and then that kind of tells people, hey, there's Netflix available on this TV screen. Another thing, and I think I'm going to backtrack. You should probably do the Netflix logo if you do provide Netflix, or if you just don't like the look of another photo on the TV. Because another photo I saw, and I think I'm going to do this for the next property, is that it was the Warner Brothers, it was a Warner Brother logo, and it definitely looked like that a movie was about to begin, because it was kind of like dark, spooky, not like the typical Warner Brothers logo. It was like a unique one, and that fit perfectly in the photo. And it's just I don't even know what was about that photo, but it was just amazing. So in this next property, we are going to have a movie theater. I think I might copy that and have the Warner Brother kind of like spooky vibe, because the movie theater is going to be dark. So I think I'm going to do that. And you guys just totally heard me think out loud. That's literally how my brain is. It's just like, yeah, going all sorts of directions. But anywho, either way, you want to just get rid of that big black TV screen and put, obviously, some type of photo in that TV screen. Another thing that I like to do with kind of like the extra touches is actually put quote unquote real flames in, let's say, a fireplace or a fire pit. You want to make sure that your fireplace is actually like people can actually use a fireplace. If it's gas, I absolutely would let people use that. So when a photographer takes that glorious photo of your fireplace, it's very hard to actually see the flames. So they could edit that and make the flames bigger, so it kind of stands out more. We do this for our fire pits as well. So the photographer will take a photo of the fire pit. I do everything in Canva. So I go into Canva and I spruce it up and make the flames even bigger. That's like, that way it kind of, makes everything stand out. And honestly, it looks cool, looks pretty, looks inviting. Now, stepping away from the wow factor, actually, we're not even stepping away from the wow factor. We're more like adding another layer of like, holy crap. And that is adding models. I know that sounds a little extra, but hear me out on this one, please. Having a person in a few photos changes everything, like lifestyle to the max. Maybe it's someone pouring coffee in a kitchen, sitting by a fire, jumping into a pool, playing frisbee golf. Like, anything is better than nothing. These lifestyle photos show potential guests that what it feels like to stay there. They're not just showing them a home or even like going into the corner and doing a wide angle of the whole room. They're showing them the experience. It creates connection, and connection is what converts browsers into bookings. I really like that. Browsers into bookings. Good job, brain. So models are amazing. And I hate to be like this because, how the world is. But if you do have models, I would definitely have male and female. If you have an avatar for kids, have kid models in there, but obviously consent and making sure that the kids are, wanting to be in the photos, and maybe have, and I'm totally thinking like a mom right now, maybe have the kids like facing away, not their face, but whatever. You do whatever you are comfortable with. but definitely have like all, definitely have diversity in your photos. I will admit, none of my properties have models. Have I thought about it? Absolutely. But when it comes to actually like doing said models, it's hard because you want the photographer to take the photos during the best light. The best light is in kind of like the afternoon, like early afternoon, or, during work hours is what I'm trying to say. Those are the best hours. And it's hard to find people that are not at work that are willing to go into your photos. And if they're your friends and your short-term rental is like 2 or 3 hours away, that's even another layer of complication. So I would love to have models in my photos, but the actual execution of it is a little bit more difficult. And at the time of me launching all of our short-term rentals, I just did not have time. So hopefully this one I do. We can just kind of like get some people in there, be some models, and then that will create more of a connection. And, just like what I said, browsers into bookings. Love that. Alrighty, carrying on. Size of models, you could, well, if you're kind of like me, don't have any models in your photos, you can just do some simple staging, like having a s'more kit by the fire pit or cozy blanket draped over the couch with, a steaming mug of hot coffee on, a coffee table. There are a lot of ways that you can quote unquote like stage a place. So like a board game, like let's, make the board game look like it's half being used. So like one of our photos, we have the game of life. I don't know. I personally love that game. So we had the game of life on the table and I had some, cards out. So it kind of looks like that someone's playing the game of life. Another thing that we do is we open up a book and have it upside down so the pages stay open. And that kind of looks like that someone's reading a book in that area. So kind of making it look like it's the property is being used, but used gently and not obviously messy. Now, there's a fine line with that because sometimes if you make it look used, then it kind of adds cluster and it just doesn't look good. So you want just like a couple of your photos to make it kind of look like it's being used. Now, in this article that I keep on mentioning, and I can 100% send it to you, I didn't make this article. Short-term rental interior designer has this on her website, and she's like, hey, enter your email and I'll give it to you like a freebie. And I was like, heck yeah, I'm going to do that because I always fall for that stuff. But anywho, another thing that they mention is that a photo shoot day is like your property's wedding day. And you're invested so much time into it, so much energy and money into this moment, and you should not rush it. They suggest to do a full walkthrough before the photographer starts, and I 100% agree with this. Do a full walkthrough, make sure everything's clean and organized and how you want, you want the property to show. Another thing that they say is to check the shoots, like the photos, as you go. Now, with that, I would love to see the shots as we go. A lot of photographers kind of are like, unfortunately, they are the people that rush it because time is money and they probably have a couple other photos, like photo shoots that they have to do as well. So they might get really irritated if you keep on doing that. But maybe you can find a photographer that's like, hey, I just want to spend all day with you. Tell me how much that's going to cost. Let's actually make this into a amazing photo shoot day. Because like, the article mentioned, you put so much time and energy and money into the property that it should shine like, it's supposed to. But honestly, like at the end of the day, you have the most incredible property in the world. But if your photos don't tell the story, you're leaving so much money on the table. Learn from me with this one. All of our properties, I still laugh about it because every single property is done completely different. I am constantly learning when it comes to photography. And even like the third property, I really struggled finding a short-term rental photographer. Had said photographer, she's like, hey, like I do short-term rentals. Well, when the photos actually came back, I was like, this is not short-term rental worthy at all. And I had to keep on telling her, like, hey, like, get those detail shots. Like, I want a shot of this, and I want a shot of this mug steaming. Like, I want these shots. And she really struggled. It's going to cost me in the end because Hope Clay's not listening to this episode. I want to redo those photos, unfortunately, because there's even like one room. It's a bunk bed room, and she literally just went into the corner, did a wide angle, and got that shot. And it doesn't even show like how cool that bunk room is because like it's just one shot. On the other side that you can't even see, there's a really cool Sasquatch. Oh, I can never say this word. Sasquatch. Whatever, you know what I'm trying to say. That wallpaper is really cool and it's such a vibe, and people don't see it. At the end of the day, it's going to cost me more money because I'm going to try to get better photos. And I think photos are literally the most important thing for Airbnb and Vrbo and Booking.com and any other platform that you have your listings on. It's the most important thing because that is what stops people scroll, especially that first photo. First photo is everything. Don't think, and this is kind of like a side note, the article did not say this, but this is like the real estate mind coming into play. Don't think that you need to have the exterior of the home be your first photo, because it doesn't. If your game room is really cool, have that be your first photo. If your kitchen is gorgeous, have that be the first photo. It does not have to be the exterior of the home, especially if your home doesn't look the prettiest. So have that scroll stopping photo. One of our properties, it's a really cool like spaceship looking A-frame thing. I don't even know what to call it because it's I don't know, super unique. Our scroll stopping photo is that at night, because it looks like a lit up spaceship at night and it's gorgeous. So that is our scroll stopping photo. Another property, exterior, not the prettiest. Not like it's like ugly, but it's just, I don't know. It wouldn't attract me. But what would attract me is the living room and how pretty the living room is. So there are definitely, like, you don't have to have the exterior be the scroll stopping. Another one of the photos or listings is we provide kayaks. So that is our first photo is the kayaks, because who doesn't like kayaking? So that kind of shows that like kayaks are available. So that was my own little side tip that was not in the article. Yes. Anywho, if you want said article, reach out to me on Instagram, the Airbnb Roadmap Podcast, and I'll just send it on over, because I think it's a pretty cool article, and obviously I'm learning, and I really hope that our next property's photos are gorgeous and I don't have to redo them, because I'm pretty sick of paying twice for my photos. So learn from me. Thanks for joining me on the Airbnb Roadmap. If you're loving these episodes and want to keep the conversation going, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share this podcast with someone who's ready to dive into the world of short-term rentals. Got a question or topic you would love to hear about? Reach out. This podcast is all about learning and growing together. And don't forget to follow me on Instagram, the Airbnb Roadmap Podcast, for more tips, tricks, and behind-the-scene insights. Until next time, here's to turning your short-term rental dreams into thriving realities. I'll see you back here soon.